Hello and welcome. This is Best Foot Forward Shoes, the podcast, and this is episode number 53. And today we have a very special episode. As you have read in the title, we have a top 10 Jordans list. And this week I am chatting to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Haas, HB Kicks on Instagram. How are you doing, mate? Thank you so much for joining me. It has been an incredible year. It's been a crazy year, and we are going to try and dissect and talk about our personal top 10 list, some honorable mentions and some ones that just missed out on getting onto the list. So how are you feeling about this list, and how are you going today, mate?
Yeah, first of all, good morning or good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening.
Opposite ends of the world. But yeah, really excited about this list, the Jordan's list. We've had, as everyone knows, so many Jordan drops this year, near enough like to sort of like fatigue levels. But yeah, I'm really excited because we've also had some fantastic drops. So I'm really happy to be here today to talk about our top 10.
Yes, it is going to be awesome. And this is not necessarily a list of every sneaker that we have picked up that have been Jordans. So there are some on the list that we personally don't own. I have not actually seen some of these. I have seen others and not bought them or picked them up. I'm sure you have more than me because I think you bought more than I have. There's also a couple that missed out that I literally am waiting on shipping. This is the one I'm talking about. So spoiler alert, I am not having the Chicago 1 low on my list. The big swoosh that has just released. I didn't have that one because it has not arrived for me yet. So if I had, it might have snuck onto this list. But hey, it's been such a stacked year. But did you have, I guess, any sort of other recent pickups? Maybe not the Jordan ones that are going to be on this list, but I suppose how has your recent pickups gone there, Haas?
Yeah, beginning of or tail end of October, we didn't really have too much, but sort of kicking on from the start of November, we had a few drops. The best one for me in terms of storytelling and being a huge fan of the show is probably the Stranger Things Nike Dunk Low. For me, what they've done with the shoe is incredible, with the details and how it sort of ties in with the show. You look at the shoe and you straight away, automatically, you're like, yeah, that is Stranger Things. And they've done an incredible job with it. So, add to that, it was quite limited in numbers as well. So I'm always very grateful when I can pick up something of such limited nature.
Yeah.
But I really love what they've done with it. The storytelling's on point. The materials are on point. Just everything about it was incredible. And, a few people sort of raised eyebrows at the markup. I think it was, in our currency, £10 more expensive than usual for a dunk. But when you're getting such quality and finesse on a shoe, it's really not an issue. Where I do have an issue sometimes is where the markups are a bit higher, but we're not getting the same quality, the quality that we expect.
Yeah.
So huge props to Nike on dropping these shoes.
Yeah, it's that Dunk Low, man. I do love the show as well, so that would kind of sway me. I did consider picking them up again. It was kind of at a time where there was a couple of other shoes that I wanted to pick up. Mainly my most recent pickup, which was this one, which was the Action Bronson 992 Digital Purpurea. I'll give a little bit of a funny story about how this shoe has been so delayed for me. Because of the name, Digitalis Purpurea is the name of a flower. These came obviously from America or wherever they came from overseas. They got held up in customs for over 2 weeks because of the name. I got told that they suspected it was a plant, so it was a living organism. I had to send them documents. I had to send them receipts. I had to call them. And all of this stuff was just very frustrating because everyone had gotten the pairs already. Everyone had been posting pictures and I just felt so out of the loop. And so I've been, obviously posted an unboxing. And by the time people watch this, they've probably seen my review already because, man, I'm loving this shoe and I'm loving everything kind of around it with the colorway, the story around it. And just, Action Bronson this year, I feel, yes, some people might have said he's had a down year, but I feel like some of these made in USA models have been absolutely awesome. So, yeah, what do you think about this one?
I love it. The color combinations are off the scale. And we talk about people like Saleh Bembury in the same breath. Your Joe Freshgoods. We talk about those people in the same breath. But what Action Bronson has done with color combinations on this shoe, and obviously naming it after a certain type of flower that he obviously has a liking to. I think it's incredible. The
Mm.
color is just
Yeah.
absolutely some of my favorite colors on there. You know, your
Yeah.
purples, your mustard sort of color on there, and it's just
That's one of
it
my
works.
this color
It works.
here that also is on the back of the tongue. That whoa, sorry, dropped it. Just this this like little
Too much heat.
this one. Yeah, exactly. This one on the back heel is actually it's like this really nice off kind of not aqua but like a deep blue kind of
Yeah,
turquoise color, and man, that's so nice. And it's actually more
it's
obviously
beautiful.
more purple than kind of some of the pictures they look really pink. It's actually a bit more toned down, so it's loud but
Yeah,
not too loud, you know. That's kind of
and you know what I like about the shoe
mm,
is the outsole just balances everything perfectly
mm,
because it's loud and then it's the outsole just tones it down.
yeah,
Okay, let's tone it down a bit with
yeah,
the uppers are loud,
yeah.
nice vibrant sort of purple, and
Mm-hmm.
then the grey outsole is just perfectly complementary.
Yeah.
So this guy really knows what he's doing when he's putting shoes together,
Yeah.
and I'm so glad you've got a pair and you've shown us what they look like. I'm
Yeah.
hoping to grab a pair at some point as well. Action Bronson, he's had a solid year this year as well.
Yeah.
Um,
For
but
sure. Some people would say
unfortunately,
some people would say that he was a little bit of a snub when it came to the sneakers of the year list
yeah,
from Complex. There was definitely he's definitely not happy about not being on that list. But there's probably a lot of other people who probably feel like they missed out. So he's not alone in
absolutely.
feeling a bit snubbed. And hopefully the people that we leave off this list don't feel a little bit too snubbed. But hey, let's get into the first one, which is my number 10 sneaker, which is one of the first sneakers that got released this year, which was the Union Chicago and Shadow colorway, the combination, the famous kind of half and half that the Union shop from LA do. Chris Union, you know, he's always putting together some good color combinations, and this one came out in about February around All-Star break. So it was one of the first kind of hotly anticipated shoes, and I did actually pick up this pair, but I did sell it on because I was not in love with it. But hey, I thought that to start off the list, to start off the year, it was my solid number 10 on the list. So, hey, if I
Yeah,
really feel like it in the future, I could pick up a pair for probably just a little bit over retail. So, I'm not too worried about those being perhaps a future cop. I know you've got a pair, and spoiler alert, you have them on your list. I'm not going to say where on your list, but yeah, that Chicago, the Shadow colorway, out of the 3 so far. Is that right? There's been 3 of
yeah,
these like Jordan 1
yeah.
high combinations. I think it was probably the thing for me is when I was wearing long pants, it just looked like a Chicago colorway. It didn't
Yes,
have
yeah,
as much, and I already have the Lost and Founds, so you know, like it just looked like a pair of those, and I don't know, it was cool, but again just moved it along, made some content with it, but then I just think it deserves a nice solid 10th spot on my list, you know?
amazing. Yeah, great shoe, and of course we're gonna get to it where I've put it on my list.
Yep.
But yeah, agreed. A great
Yeah.
shoe. But on my number 10,
Yep.
with more recent drop. And contrary to popular belief, I haven't got the pink pair. I've in fact got the black and blue pair,
Yep.
which is absolutely amazing for a number of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, criticizing Awake, only having just recently, they've only recently started collaborating with Nike with a few previous models. I think they had the Air Ships last year as well, which, funny enough, they're on sale at the moment. But
Yep.
these are superb in terms of durability. Fantastic. I had these on feet in Toronto about a month and a half ago for a good 3-4 days, just because they were so robust and they look great. With the cutout there, the A for Awake, you can all
Very
see there.
nice. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing because it's their own take on the shoe. They've done something different with it, and you can tell it's an Awake collaboration.
Yeah.
The shoe itself, it's nice. I do like the blue, black and blue colorway. You've got sort of speckles on the shark teeth,
Yeah.
on the outsole there, with the silver speckles and the blue hits. I just think it's more sort of muted in tone, obviously, than the pink pair. So if you want to be sort of discreet but still have a really good pair of shoes on, I think you can't go wrong with these. So these at number 10, because it's not everyone's cup of tea, and because it wasn't as available as some of the other drops. For me, it got the 10th spot because for me, accessibility is also important.
Yes.
When judging where to put shoes. So yeah, these are a solid entry at number 10.
Yeah.
For me.
That is very nice. And man, I do like that colorway more than this one that I put up top. But I suppose the pink one was kind of the one that got a lot of the headlines. Again, modeled after the pink one had a good story. It was kind of modeled after a World War II aircraft that had the same sort of pinkish hue, the color scheme. The ones that was kind of basically they flew those planes around dusk, kind of to try and blend in with the sky and that sort of thing. And obviously the Jordan 5 having a plain design background. I do love the way that it looks, but myself, I didn't put this on the list, spoiler alert, because I'm not really a fives guy. I don't love wearing them that much, but I'm really glad that you picked up a pair of those. And do you feel like it was a little bit of a cop-out when they didn't actually number the shoes properly? And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, they had a number on them, and then everyone was like, "Oh, I'm going to get number 3,000 of 5,000," and actually every shoe has the number 1 on it.
Yeah, I think that's more in terms of people that want more exclusivity, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that. Some people like to have something that's extremely exclusive.
Yeah.
And having a shoe number gives you that, but I think it's not a major deal breaker, to be honest. If you love a shoe and you're a shoe lover, then it shouldn't make any difference to you.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I totally understand. That was your number 10 shoe. My number 9 shoe, funnily enough, is another 5. As I said, I'm not a huge 5s guy, but I cannot deny the moment that this shoe had. Black reimagined Jordan 5. This one had a different kind of rollout than I feel like the Awakes did. Obviously, not a collaboration, a reimagining, an inline pair. It definitely was a sleeper pick. Are you going to say that? It was a shoe that gained a lot of momentum after it released.
100%.
What was the actual release date? I've kind of forgotten. It was around mid-year.
February,
but yeah, okay, it was February. So yeah, it really didn't gain a lot of traction, I feel, until around July, August. There was a lot of people kind of bringing them out and being like, remember that these released this year? And a lot of people are like, yeah, like they've kind of gone up a little bit in resale value. Not that that is a marker of a really good shoe, but these had a sleeper kind of year, which is cool to see. It's not like some shoes on the list which just smacked you in the face from the moment they released. They kind of built as the year went on, and I feel like that's a really cool moment for this shoe. Obviously, a classic OG colorway of the Jordan 5, the history around it. Michael Jordan actually wore this pair of shoes, so everything kind of coming together has created a really good moment for this shoe. And not going to spoil the placing, but you have this as well in your shoes. But so did you want to wait until you talked about it, or?
Yeah, we'll wait. Yeah, I just want to hear your take on it. But yeah,
no, I really like as I said, having the Union at 10, this one at number 9. They're shoes that I thought had a good moment of the year and deserve a place in kind of the top 10, but I didn't feel it was for me to put it up a little bit higher. So that was my number 9, and your number 9, which we'll move on to now, was the Bread 85s, which, to be honest, this was surprising that it was a little bit this low for you. So can you kind of explain why you put this one down at your number 9 spot?
Yeah, I guess we kicked off the year with the Bread 85s as the first sort of major release. For me, I didn't manage to get a pair. Again, accessibility, those who actually wanted them did manage to get a pair, but they weren't sort of widely available. They weren't like sitting on shelves or anything like that. But I guess it's here because it's as close as you can get to owning the original 85 version. And the shape and the build, the nostalgia, everything that it brought along with it, it's all there. So, you've got to give it props for that. And, I feel like any sort of top 10 list would feel incomplete without a proper OG like this pair here, So for me, it takes the number 9 mantle. I haven't got one in hand. I'd love to have one in hand. I think there's a restock coming soon with new pairs dropping. So
nice.
I'll definitely have a look at that. But it's one of the OGs that sort of paved the way and made Jordan what it is as well. So you know, without going too much into it, I think the Bread 85s certainly deserve that top 9 spot or
Yeah.
9th spot.
Yeah, nice, man. And I think that the cut is really, really good. The kind of slanted toe box, the kind of sort of more vertical back heel as
Yes.
well is very, very nice. Obviously, they kind of went into the archives to try and find some of the original designs and tried to recreate it as much as possible. And I think that the only thing that's really kind of putting it at the bottom of people's list is that it wasn't very available. So there wasn't a lot of people who kind of could experience it. So I think that's a good spot to put it at number 9. My number 8 spot is another 5. Funnily enough, so we've had how many shoes? We've had 5 shoes now, and we've had 3 Jordan 5s. So I suppose there might be a trend here, but this was one that you actually picked up. I did not. This is the Tokyo 5, originally a shoe that was released only in the Tokyo Jordan store when it released, and obviously it has the Nike on the side there, which is obviously written in the it is the word Jordan written in the Japanese script.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
So it has like a tie-in with Japan, and obviously a little bit of history when it comes to the Jordan store, and I just love the way it looks. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of yellow, but there's something about I suppose a monochromatic look on a shoe that I can appreciate, and yeah, Jordan 5. I just kind of love the history of it. You'll see a little bit of a trend in my list where I really enjoy some of the history, especially when it comes to Jordans, of course, being the most historic retro brand that we have, and you know, I just think that this looks awesome, and I suppose you could talk a little bit about it because you don't actually have this one on your list, but give us a little bit of a rundown why this one kind of was such a special shoe for you.
Obviously the history behind it, like you said, they were very, very limited in numbers at the time. Sort of like the Wu-Tang Dunks we had early in the year. Those were limited to like scarcity sort of levels. No one could get a hold of those. And the Tokyo's almost the same, you know, such great shoes, such great history of MJ over there in Tokyo, doing what he did. And this shoe was sort of elevated to that sort of god tier level sort of status at the time because it was so scarce. We couldn't get a pair to, you know, from anywhere. And for them to re-release this and make it sort of, you know, more accessible and available for people, I think it's fantastic. It's definitely a big W for the community. But talking about the shoe itself, you know, a yellow shoe, it's not going to be to everyone's sort of taste.
Yeah.
I've got it behind me, but yeah.
Yeah, it's all good, man. It's my list, so there's a reason, I suppose, why. I know you're kind of beating around the bush, but there's a reason why it's not on your top 10.
Yeah, it's for me. It comes down to wearability as well.
Yeah.
There's only certain times where I'll be wearing these shoes because they will be ruined like pretty quick.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah.
Even like when you're wearing jeans, if you're wearing jeans that are likely to bleed, it will bleed onto the materials. The materials are very delicate on this shoe, so any sort of scuffs and marks will be very difficult to get out. So on this one, I'm looking at, you know, materials and everything else they've done with the shoe, and for me it comes under that sort of wearability umbrella. Great shoes to wear. I've had them on feet when we had really nice weather and it was dry, but it's going to be really tough to look after these, and that's why they sort of sit just outside the top 10 for me, which it pains me because it's such an iconic shoe. It really if only, you know, the materials were a bit more durable, you know. So
no, I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah, I ultimately I buy shoes to wear shoes.
Yeah.
I don't buy shoes to sort of, you know, put them up and that's it. It's there for 2 years and I'm no longer wearing it, and etc. etc. I have to be able to wear the shoes as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm limited on when and where and how I can wear these shoes. They have to go in the top 10. Only, I mean, if there weren't so many drops, it might have even been in the top 10. But because we've had other stuff come out which have been amazing, you know, it's to the detriment of these shoes and the placing.
Yeah, I think it's definitely I suppose a historical pick for me. It's not so much that I would even wear this shoe. It's just that I can appreciate what it's done for the culture, for Jordan, especially in such a big market like Japan. And you were saying about wearing them in like weather. I definitely could not wear a Jordan 5 in summer. And I have summer basically for 7, 8 months of the year. So there's a very limited time. I think that's probably come to where I don't wear a lot of Jordan 5s, not really a Jordan 5s guy, but I can appreciate the history. And I think that's why it's kind of made my number 8 spot. So that's a little bit of a roundup of, to be honest, a fair few Jordan 5s in our first 5 shoes. But let's move on to a Jordan 1 low. This was your number 8 shoe. This is the
Yes,
Jordan
it
1
was.
low Zion Williamson Voodoo. This is the second colorway of this shoe. Zion Williamson, obviously a big basketball player, playing in New Orleans, which, you know, Voodoo has a little bit of a tie-in with New Orleans, hence the tie-in there. Some people might not understand why that kind of works, but give us a bit of a rundown why this made your number 8 spot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a recent release.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was released about 3 weeks ago now, 2 to 3
Yeah.
weeks ago. Yeah, it's a very seasonal shoe.
Mm.
I'm gonna put it that way.
Halloween. Yeah.
It has the Halloween theme. It has that sort of gothic theme.
Mm.
We all know from the first release, you know, the Zion Williamson release, how popular those were, which are going for a pretty penny at the moment, I believe. So they're not cheap at all. But they made the top 10, the 8 spot, because of mainly accessibility and the fact that you can walk into a store and you can pick up a pair right now for retail.
Yep.
Absolutely amazing. And for what you're getting at the price point is a hell of a lot of details. I mean, there's details everywhere on the shoe, you know, even from, you know, the upside down sort of Nike tag on the tongue, the reverse Air Jordan on the heel, and when you lift that up, you've got Zion Williamson up there as well. You know, you get 3 extra laces as well as the ones I've put on there, and you get all the same cool features on there as the first pair as well. So just everything about the shoe from aesthetic point of view, the materials that they've used, the fact that you can walk into a store and get these, and how big the first pair were, I just feel like these are a big win for the community. And when it's a big W for the community, it deserves my respect and a place in the number 8 ranking of the top 10.
Yeah, it's very, very nice. And again, a pair that I did not pick up, but there was definitely an opportunity. Like you said, we have probably had a little bit of less stock in Australia. I don't think you can go and buy these at a place right now. I think they're all sold out on the Nike website. But there was opportunities. It's not like these were an instant or like not obtainable at all. There was definitely a time where you could have picked these up. But yeah, what do you think about this one compared to the first one? Is there... I know you have this one, which is obviously going to sway you, but how do you feel about this colorway compared to the first one?
Well, I've had the first ones in hand, so I know what they're like as well.
Yeah.
Superb earthy tones on there. And I love my earthy tones. It's just I wasn't able to pick up a pair at the time, and it's really expensive at the moment to pick up that pair. So the fact that this is sort of like a redemption arc for me, I managed to get the alternate version, as it's been called. But yeah, look, it definitely stands out because it brings creativity and personality to the Jordan line. You know, most of the stuff that we get from Jordan look very similar, albeit different color blockings. But you know, everything from the mismatched panels to the sort of earthy tones on this as well, and the storytelling. It's why we like the first version, and it's why we like this version as well. It continues the same theme, and they haven't budged from the quality of the first one, so it's nigh on same quality as the first one.
And this will definitely not be the first or last. Sorry, this is the first, but it won't be the last Jordan 1 low that we will have on this list. My number 7 spot, which we will move right along to, is one that you also have on your list a little bit later, which is the Soul 2.0s, the Jordan 3s. Woo! Man, this was a
Fire.
heater. This was heater, and this was honestly a shoe that I regret. So basically, the story about this one was I either had a choice to pick this one up or the Nike Air Max Mandarin. Sorry, yeah, the Nike Air Max 95 Mandarin. It was either those two. They were releasing on the same day, and I was like, oh. But I really wanted a pair of the big bubble. I love orange, like I love the mandarin pair. I definitely don't. I don't. I'm gonna say I don't have any regrets. But man, this might be a future pickup. Again, kind of like the Union ones, not going for a huge amount over retail. I just love the storytelling. Of course, it gets the 2.0 name from the original release of this Soul pair, which was a very icy white, basically all white, black with a little bit of blue and red. Very similar to obviously the Korean flag, but it had a huge amount of resale value. It's going for a lot right now. It's probably less now that this 2.0 is released, but I feel like there's enough differences between this pair and the first pair to be able to have them stand on their own. And I think that like the box that this came in, the little ribbon that it came with, the aged midsole, the furry elephant print, all of them, this is just an absolutely amazing shoe. And again, I might pick it up in a little bit of time. There's obviously a few other shoes that I'm keen to get, but this was definitely one of the best Jordans of probably the best Jordan 3 in a year that hasn't seen a lot of good Jordan 3s. I feel like this has been the best Jordan 3. What do you think?
Yeah, I can't disagree with that, to be honest. It's absolutely superb in execution and design, and it's my most worn three of the year. So I have to sort of, agree with everything you just said. Such a great shoe, and I'm really excited for you to have these in hand. Obviously, to see what you do with them with your creative mind as well. But a super wearable shoe, super
Very.
wearable. We're going to get into it. Obviously, it is in my top 10 list.
Yeah.
It is up there, but yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you, bro.
Yeah, one of the best Jordan 3s, if not, I feel like the best Jordan 3 of the year, and that's saying a lot because yeah, this one, man, I don't know, I just love everything about it. The creamy outsole, the elephant print. You can't see it obviously in this photo, but there's like the really nice South Korean script underneath the tongue on both sides. You got this like South Korean flag on the branding and everything. Like all of it's just it's just really really dope, and I love this pair. That was my number 7 pair. Your number 7 pair is another low, a very, very recent pickup for you, which is the Chicago Low Jordan 1, the big swoosh. Take it away. I'm not even going to try because, again, I'm a little bit annoyed that it's taken
Right.
Nike. Well, I mean, I bought them
Okay.
on
So,
Saturday. They've taken a while to get here. I wish I had them for this moment, but go ahead.
all good things come to those who wait. So you're a man who has plenty of patience. So it will come. But honestly, for now, just have a look at these, bro. Honestly,
Yeah.
absolutely incredible job they've done on these. To most, it's going to be like, yeah, but these are just another pair of, Chicago's. No, they've changed the shape on this. They've kept to that super, suave material they had on the original Chicago's. It's a thing of beauty in its simplicity. That's what I like. They haven't tried to, apart from that, big swoosh, which I love because it just breaks everything up.
Yeah.
It just that swoosh. And I have the black laces in this. I do want the white laces in these because I prefer the white laces, but I kept the black laces in. But I feel like with the white laces, it will complement the shoe in a way where the star of the show is that sort of that large swoosh on there. But look, what they've done with this shoe is incredible. It's super wearable. These are going to be shoes that you can wear all year round. Summertime, pair of shorts. Wintertime, nice pair of cargos.
Yeah.
Anytime around the clock, you can wear these. The quality, superb. The leather materials they've used, superb. Just everything about this shoe looks premium and is premium. They haven't skimped on anything, which I love, because it's a classic silhouette. It's a classic colorway, Chicago. It's one that stands tall above every other colorway in the lineup for me.
Yeah. For sure.
But yeah, the low top version for me, like I said, it's a more wearable version
Mm.
day to day.
Yeah.
And you get to have this heritage on feet. It's just incredible.
Hmm. Just wait till it
But
starts
you
to
can
cool
always,
down for you. Like in summer, you're going to be
yeah,
wearing those a ton.
oh, 100%. And it's always going to be a pair that I can rely on
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah.
So, the real icing on the cake with these is the fact that they are still available,
Mm.
available online,
Yeah.
available in store. I heard from a friend yesterday. He was saying it's absolutely incredible. I walked into a store, I tried the shoes on, and I
Mm.
bought the shoe. What a great time to be a
Yeah.
sneakerhead, an enthusiast, or someone who loves their shoes. Absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Totally deserving of the number 7 slot
Mm-hmm.
in my top 10. It would have been a lot higher had there not been other incredible shoes, but to be in the
Yeah.
top 10 at number 7 is still incredible in itself.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if I had them in hand, it probably would have snuck in to the top 10 for me. But like, I really do appreciate it. And I'm sure that I'm going to love them when I do get them in. Of course, it's summer for me right now. So wearing a low is just perfect. And I feel like this is a shoe that if you are going to like a party or something, like if you want to go somewhere with a lot of people and you want people to know that you're a sneakerhead, this is the kind of shoe that you wear. This is the shoe, the Chicago colorway, a Jordan. This is the kind of shoe that you can pop out in. You know what I mean? Like, sure, I could wear a New Balance something, and people would be like, "Oh, they're nice," but it's not a sneakerhead shoe, I suppose, to the general public, to the kind of everyday person. And I think that there's some validity in that sort of thing. And this shoe is just a standout shoe. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So good, man. And that was your number 7 shoe. My number 6 shoe was a shoe that you already kind of touched on a little bit, but the Bread 85s. One of the reasons why it was in my list, despite not actually having the shoe, was the rollout. I feel like it was a really cool thing that they did with some of the in-person activations. Yes, it wasn't very available to a lot of people, but kind of the branding around it, where they had someone walking around with the like banning people from wearing Jordans. I really liked that. I suppose it came at the time of the year where we hadn't seen what else was coming out. So it was kind of fresh, and I kind of did try to think back on how I felt watching that content before all the other shoes that had released this year came out. And I just think I just got really excited about the release. And I just think that the history as well, we're talking about history this year a lot, and the Jordan 1 Bread, of course, this was like the first shoe that Jordan wore. It's classic, and I just love the way that they tried to stay as true as possible to the original. So there's not really much else to say, but I just think that being in the number 6 didn't quite crack the top 5, probably because of the exclusivity. I feel like I haven't even held these in hand. Like, I've not seen them in any resale shops. I've not seen them in any boutiques or anything. It's just very, very hard to get, and maybe one day. So I think that's kind of pegged it down a little bit, but I mean, it doesn't really. This is another shoe that if you wear these, people are going to be like, "Oh, he's a sneakerhead. Like, he's into sneakers." It's one of those if you know type of shoes. Like, it's definitely one of those. But yeah, I'm happy with this being my number 6, and I know you already had this on your list. But was there any kind of final thoughts on this one before we move on to your
Yeah,
number 6?
yeah. My final thoughts on the Bread 85 is, for me, I very much thought and still think of these shoes as the Nike announcement shoes,
Mm,
because this was very much a statement of intent from Nike, and purposefully used these shoes to announce, right, we're bringing back the Bread 85s,
mm-hmm.
and this signifies what is to come. And boy, did they come at us with, drop after drop after these Bread 85s were released, because
Yeah.
these sort of announced to the world the intentions of Nike for 2025.
Mm,
So it's very much a statement piece for me,
yeah.
albeit very exclusive, but a statement piece of what Nike wanted to bring to us and have brought to us throughout the year.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. So that was my number 6. Your number 6 was a shoe that we just talked about as well. But give me a little bit of a
Right.
rundown as to why you put this at your number 6, a little bit higher than what I put, just one spot ahead. But I guess the Soul 2.0s. Again, if you are just listening to us on Apple Podcast or Spotify, I would highly recommend jumping on YouTube and checking this episode out, because very heavily on the visuals. Always do appreciate everybody who is on YouTube watching us. Thank you so much to everybody. But give us a rundown here, Hass, as to why this was your number 6 pair.
So it almost sits slap bang in the middle of the top 10
Mm-hmm.
list because uh look, this shoe is absolutely insane in terms of the build quality
Mm.
and the materials that they've used. I mean, you can't ask for more, and these were still available after the
Yeah.
drop. It's
Yeah.
incredible. You can still buy these pairs at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But what they've done from a design point of view, aesthetically, we've seen a lot of shoes with the aged sort of
We
midsole.
have. Yeah.
This was one of the first pairs where I thought, you know what? It actually works with this
Yeah.
shoe.
Yeah.
It works perfectly. And it's harking back to the 80s. It sort of signifies the fact that we've waited, you know, 20, 30 plus years or more, to finally have these shoes back. And the midsoles have sort of aged. And this
Mm-hmm.
is the story they're telling. Um, they haven't skimped on quality, so you've got that elephant print with the gold cracks in there. I don't know if you can see, but it
Yeah.
looks absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful. We've got the Nike Air logo on the back, and as you said, we do have the Korean sort of writing
Yeah.
under the tongue as well, which is a very nice touch. And then you've got nice subtle sort of blue hits around the ankle collar.
Yeah.
And then also on the eyelets on the front there, you've got nice little hits of blue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Comfort, I'll give it a definite 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
These for me are very comfortable for a Jordan 3. Wearability, 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
I would even rock these during the winter. Very robust.
Yeah.
Listen, this shoe is steeped in history.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad this wasn't sort of a direct retro because as nice as the original pair were, it's just too white for me and too much,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
fact that they've taken it down and they've called it a 2.0, a
Mm.
reimagining, I think it's fantastic. So it's not a direct sort of retro, but a reimagining of the shoe. And I think they've done an even better job than the original, if I'm being honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Original, of course, history, we can't take that away, but this 2.0 is fantastic and one of my most worn shoes of the year,
Mm.
which is why it's quite high up in that top 10 list.
Yeah. Damn.
It's just a really, really clean design. And it has cultural significance,
Mm-hmm.
obviously.
You're making me
With
want
the
these a lot. You're making me want these.
with the ties that it has to Korea, it's just beautiful. It's simple, super refined. It pays respect to Korean sneaker culture. It's
Mm-hmm.
everything you want in a shoe that radiates history. It's
Mm-hmm.
not loud. It's not loud. We've had loud shoes,
Yeah.
but the execution is top tier. And I'll leave it
Absolutely.
at that.
Yeah. No, it's very, very nice. Yeah, I've always said that the Jordan 3 is my most comfortable shoe when it comes to Jordans. I always love the way they feel. I felt that they fit my foot perfectly. And I obviously have a lot of pairs of Jordan 3s, but this was a very kind of down year, let's just say, for Jordan 3s. I'm sure they'll pick it up at some point again, but they're letting some other pairs take their shine and go through the cycle, so to speak. But that was the number 6 shoe for you, so we're getting into the top half for both of us, and let's get into my number 5, which is bang, the white cement Jordan 4s. One of the pairs that I actually do have in hand. So an absolutely incredible shoe. A lot of people didn't like some of the QC issues they had, but I had no issues at all. Again, a shoe, like you have said, that was very readily available, a shoe that was always kind of on the horizon, and a lot of people hyped it up. And yet when it actually came, there was a lot of stock. And so a lot of people were able to pick these up, not only at the Foot Locker store, the Nike store, but other boutiques as well. And I think there's been some sizes go on sale recently. So, I mean, that doesn't really figure into my ranking. It's more of my personal experience, and I have absolutely loved wearing these. And again, it came at a time later on towards the end of my, I suppose, winter. I don't really have a winter here, but I'm going to be wearing these a lot when it gets to the cooler months next year.
Yeah.
So, what did you think about this one?
So these actually go in the honourable mentions list
Mm-hmm.
with the Tokyos. So a very esteemed company there. But yeah, for me, there was issues with the QC first and foremost. We had a lot of problems with the QC. I had friends who went back for 2 or 3 pairs, and each one had problems. So for me, I think these shoes deserved a lot more love and attention from Nike, being one of the most popular colorways
Yeah.
ever,
Yeah.
if not the best colorway ever on a 4. And I just think they should have done a bit more with sort of pushing the boat out a bit on the materials that they've used on the shoe, giving us a more sort of premium feel. I just feel like for something that's so, again, it is steeped in history as well, just because of how popular it was and
Yeah.
what it meant to sneakerheads and people in a culture. I think they should have given us something that was befitting that. And the fact that they didn't, I think, was a massive letdown. To see them sitting on shelves was, in some ways, it was like a massive disrespect, but at the same time, it's a massive W as well, if you know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean. It's on both ends. It is a massive W, the fact that you could walk in and buy a pair, but you'd have to be lucky to grab a pair that's in great condition with no factory issues or any QC issues. And this is the biggest hindrance for me with these shoes was the QC on the shoes. Having said that, beautiful shoes, absolutely fantastic. The grey and the black speckles on there is classics. It's synonymous with sneaker culture. You can automatically tell what these shoes are.
Yeah.
Just fire pair, man. But I had to go into my honourable mentions list at least.
No, fair enough. But yeah, I think that just from personal experience, I just wore these kind of a lot when it came to the end of the kind of winter time when I picked them up. And again, I just loved the original color. A lot of people who already had the previous releases didn't actually pick this one up because they were like, I've barely even worn my other pairs, so why would I buy a pair that a lot of people were saying they're having issues with? So a lot of people kind of, I guess, didn't enjoy this one as much as I did, but hey, it's my list, so I'm going to put it at where I want it to go, which is at number 5. So I really did like the white cement 4s, classic colorway. Pretty much everything you said, I'll echo. Classic colorway. It's another shoe that you can wear, and people are like, oh, he knows what he's talking about when it comes to shoes. So that was my number 5 spot. But moving it right along to your number 5 spot, a shoe that we already kind of talked about, the Union ones, the Jordan ones, which, I mean, I kind of already spoke about it, but I suppose I want to hear what you thought about it as an overall shoe this year.
Yeah, well, look, first of all, it's very much deserving of the top 5 spot or number 5 spot in my top 10, because this shoe simply, there isn't many shoes where when you open the box, you open it and then you get that gut feeling in your stomach and you're like, wow. And then you look at the materials that they've used on the shoe is insane.
Yeah.
Like, they have not held back on the quality of these shoes. Albeit it didn't get as much love, I feel, this year.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is.
It has sort of faded away a bit in some people's minds.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it has. But let's not forget, this is a Union collaboration on a Chicago colorway. Okay.
Yeah.
It deserves respect.
Yeah.
And they have done a fantastic job with this shoe. It's not, if I put it side by side with any other Jordan 1, you can tell the difference in quality straight away. Now, these are just superb. Look at that.
Yeah.
It's
and the blue laces
well
too. The blue laces you've changed into there is very, very nice.
Yeah. I had to put the blue laces in there as well. Even the hang tag. Look at that. The hang tag is just premium, bro. Look at that.
Yeah.
You don't get many hang tags like that these days. But look, it deserves its place at number 5 because it changed the landscape for Jordan 1s, like collaborations.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
And I feel like Union's approach to, vintage aesthetics, the stitching and the materials, I think it just set a new standard. And this is the standard that they should hold all Jordans too,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I get it; it's more expensive to make, but this is the standard setter, the standard bearer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's influential, it's unique, and for me, I think it still holds up as one of the best modern Jordan ones of all time.
Yeah.
I honestly think that, and
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what they do next year when they drop a couple of more. I think there's 3 more different colorways coming out, but this certainly bodes well for what's coming next year. So this sits at number 5, one of my favorites of this year. Just a beautiful shoe, bro. I mean, when you have these in hand, in your hand, finally, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Very, very nice, mate. That's very good. And your number 5 spot, you've already, basically, if this was any other year, those bottom 5 that you just talked about would probably be like some of the best shoes of the year. And yet we're only just past the halfway point. So there's still a lot more to come. But I suppose you've been talking a little bit about some of your honorable mentions. I guess I wanted to touch a little bit on some of my honorable mentions. And perhaps at this halfway mark, we can talk about some of the snubs that we haven't put on this list. But one of my honorable mentions was the SB4s. The navy colorway, which I thought was very good. It obviously didn't quite have the hype that the green pair. I don't think it was to do with the colorway. I don't think it was to do with the difference in quality. I just think it was a different moment in the sneaker scene. I think that when that pine green SB4, it was brand new. There wasn't a huge amount of other amazing retros coming out. I mean, there was, but there wasn't like the grail level sneakers we're getting this year. So I just feel like this kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people. Really nice, very cool. I don't know if did you pick up a pair of you had a pair of these navy SB4s?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've got a pair of the navy as well, navy SB4s, and I love them. I really do. It definitely would make it into my honorable mentions list. But I just feel like a lot of people thought, well, I've got the military blues. They're the same, apart from not having the SB on the back.
Yeah.
I think the main difference with the SB4s is the fact that, you know, they retooled the shoes and made it slightly more comfortable, which is a fantastic thing to have in the Jordan 4, as you know.
Yeah.
But I just feel like among so many other Jordan drops, there was a bit of fatigue at that point as well. And it's like it didn't get the same love that others did at the time. So
I get you.
Great shoe, great comfort, but definitely on the honorable mentions list.
Another honorable mention that I had was the Lucky Shorts Jordan 3. Going to talk about this one a little bit. I picked this one up on sale. I think it was 25 or 30% off, which was awesome. The leather quality on this shoe is amazing. It's amazing. And I've worn this to like a gala dinner and it looked the part because it's so clean. It's so nice. It's like a very, very kind of muted down with a little bit of the UNC blue on the back. Very, very nice. Another honorable mention, which I didn't put on there, and I suppose you could call it a snub, speaking of the UNC, was the UNC Jordan 1 Reimagines. A lot of people probably forgot that shoe came out. Like, the kind of little brother to the Lost and Founds. Similar sort of thing, not quite the same story around it, with like they found it in a warehouse somewhere, but similar sort of thing with the age, the cracked leather, that sort of thing. Very, very nice. I forgot to get them. They're just over there, so I did pick that one up. What was the other one? Another honorable mention or something that we, I guess, snubbed on the list was the Jordan 17, the Infinite Archives, a pair that a lot of people... I just feel like that's a very American-centric shoe. I don't know if that really translated a lot to the UK or even in Australia. No one in Australia sold that. I didn't see it anywhere. Very few people in America got it. Exclusivity was off the chain. Again, it's kind of a collector's shoe. It's very, I suppose, if you know type of shoe. What did you think about that one quickly?
Yeah, I think it's a super clean colorway. You know, it's super wearable. Definitely one for the summertime at most, but it can be worn at, you know, various functions as well, like you did yourself. So yeah, I've got no issues with that. Definitely deserves a mention in honorables list for me as well, the Lucky Shorts.
Yeah, that's and also we're talking about the UNC ones as well. So
super clean. I mean, I can even add for me the Rookie of the Year lows.
Yeah.
Super, super clean. You know, if you're going out somewhere, just a super nice pair of shoes that was pretty much overlooked this year. And it was a shame because a lot of the quality, a lot of the shoes had really poor quality. Luckily, mine were okay, but again, it was let down by QC issues.
Yeah, no, I feel you. And one of the other ones that we kind of talked about, well, don't think we talked about it, but the Armor Meniere threes, the diffuse
Yes.
blue, those are very nice. I picked those ones up. One of the ones that we didn't put on the list, which people are probably asking about, is the Travis Scott Fragment shoes. Probably the less said about that shoe, the better. But yes, you will not be seeing that shoe on the list because none of us have it. And it'll be probably a long shot for us to actually get it because the Australian and UK market, I guess, just don't exist when it comes to Jordan and Travis Scott releases. So anyway, we'll pass on with that one. But did we do? Yeah, we did your number 5, my number 5. So White Cement 4s, Union 1s was your number 5. We're getting into the big boys here, and we've actually got a lot of similarities here. So my number 4 shoe, which we'll move quickly along, is another Jordan 1. And I do have this one in hand, which is the Shattered Backboard Jordan 1 High. I mean, for me, the points that put this in the top 4 for me are, number 1, the colorway. I love orange. I love the black. I'm an Orioles fan, which is a team that sports the same color scheme. I have a partiality to that. Might be a loose tie-in, but I do love it. I love the story around the shoe. The uniform that Jordan wore. A lot of the times, the stretches to build colorways from Jordan can be a little bit loose. You may call this a loose stretch, but I just, any sort of tie-in is really cool to make a really cool colorway. The comfort's great. The quality of the materials are great. And again, I could pick them up. I could have walked into a store. I didn't. I bought them from the Nike website on release day, but you could have walked into a store and picked these up. And I think there's going to be pairs of them sitting on sale. So all of those things combined, the amount that I've worn them, they're just definitely got to be in my top 4 for me.
Yeah. Again, great shoes. I echo what you said. Another pair that definitely goes into my honourable mentions list.
Yeah.
And these ones are another W for the community as well, because those that aren't aware of the history behind the shattered backboards, go on YouTube, watch the video, and you'll see what we're talking about and why these are called shattered backboards. They're simply fantastic. The first iterations that came out had the best quality that we ever saw in a Jordan.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure these are of that quality or the same quality. I don't have them in hand, but I have obviously had them in hand in a store, had a look and stuff. Available at the moment. You can purchase these here in the UK at retail. I think, if the opportunity arises and there's a sale on, which I think there is, Black Friday coming up soon over here, I'd definitely be keen on grabbing a pair of these myself. Just great. I'm a sucker for orange as well.
Yeah.
I love orange. I've got orange on today. Just a super clean pair of shoes. And I have to respect the fact that you put these in the number 4 slot. Super accessible. There's a lot going for these shoes. It's just I have other stuff in my list that, in my opinion, just trumped these.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. We'll get into your number 4 sneaker here, Hass, which is the Black Metallic Jordan 5s Reimagined. I have talked a little bit about this. This was my number 9 sneaker. So what puts this one, I suppose, up into your top 4?
You can't get more iconic on a Jordan 5 than the Black Metallics. For me, it was, and still is, probably the best colorway for a Jordan 5. Just the suede, the metallic hits, the silver sort of black speckles on there. This shoe just screams simplicity but beauty. It's as simple as that. I got these over the 85s back in February. I didn't know they were going to go on to be so scarce and so expensive on the market at the moment. They shouldn't be. They should be available for retail for everyone who wants them. But that's an indication of how popular these are. It's arguably the most classic Jordan 5 of all time. Simply put, everything about it for me is just iconic. The silver tongue, black nubuck, the icy soul. Not to mention, we do like icy souls.
Yes.
It's one of those shoes that's, you know, it never lost relevance and it never will lose relevance, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No matter how many years pass, but these are incredible. I mean, I had these on at a sneaker event in February, and despite all the drops that occurred before then, and people had a lot of heat on their feet, a lot of people were, you know, complimenting me on these and saying how amazing they looked. So, bro, this is for me one of the must cops of 2025.
Yeah.
Must cops for a non-collab shoe to be holding its own amongst all the shoes that we've mentioned. That is seriously saying something, right?
Yeah. And this is, again, kind of going in tandem of this year being a very strong Jordan 5's year. And would you compare these, I suppose, in material quality to the Tokyo 5's? Like you said, the Tokyo 5's were very delicate. Would you say that these are also pretty delicate? Like, are they show the dirt a lot, is what I've heard. Like they've got a lot of, they're like a dust magnet kind of thing, especially with the nubuck material.
Yeah, they are prone to picking up dust. It's not as bad as what everyone says it is, but you know, all it takes is a suede brush. You can get brushes where you can brush the suede and it comes off real quick. So not a big problem. The problem for me with the Tokyos is the color and the fact that, you know, once that color's sort of, you know, etched with a bit of dirt or anything else, it's really hard to get out. You really need to get it professionally looked at. But obviously with these being black, it doesn't matter as much. You know, even if you had a bit of dirt on there, you rub it off with the suede brush and it looks brand new and clean. So wearability is on point for me. Even with a bit of light rain, bit of crep protect on these and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
So super wearable, super iconic.
Yeah.
And aesthetically really pleasing to the eye.
And I love those white laces on there too.
Oh, yeah, I had to get the white laces on there, bro.
Yeah. Super nice.
Yeah.
Super nice.
Brilliant.
Definitely very worthy of a number 4 spot. But let's move on to the top 3. The bronze medal, which happened to be the exact same shoe for both of us. And we're going to reveal it in 3, 2, 1. It's the Nigel Sylvester Jordan 1 Low Better with Time. This shoe, woo, man. I honestly, in the last 3 months since I've had this shoe, maybe a little bit less than 3 months, there has not been a shoe that I've worn more than this one. Just in terms of the amount of times that I've worn it, there has not been a shoe that I've worn more than this one. Jordan 1 Low, again, this was my number 3, but also your number 3. So I guess I'll kind of go first. Some of the main things that I love. First of all, the aging on it. Like, it's already basically a pre-aged sole. You've got the obvious scuff marks all around the leather. Obviously, Nigel Sylvester is a BMX biker. He basically designed this shoe to be what he imagines or what some of his shoes already look like after he's been riding in a BMX bike with them. You've got a huge scuff on the back sole, on the back heel tab here. You've got one on the front as well. They're very obvious. The mismatched swooshes is a very nice touch as well. I love that. So on the medial side, you've got an actual stitch swoosh. And on the lateral side, you've got a printed on kind of plastic swoosh. The nice color blocking of the Jordan at the back there. You've got the red laces as well. I love the red laces being in there too. You got a cream pair, a black pair. Really comfy insole as well. But also just the leather. Like, man, the leather quality on these is incredible. Like, it's very comparable to me for the same leather quality as the Lucky Shorts. Like, already kind of broken in, malleable, just fit your feet perfectly. And man, I just love everything about this shoe, and it's definitely, if it wasn't such a strong year for Jordans, any other year this would be number 1. But yeah, why did this make your number 3 shoe?
Yeah, same again. I have to agree with you again. It is the most worn shoe out of my collection this year. In the short space of time I've had these, I mean, you can see from the insoles there as well.
Yeah.
They started to sort of fade. I've worn them so much. But that's what shoes are for, right? They're for wearing. For a collaboration and for me to wear it as often as I have, it's saying a lot. The leather quality is superb. Again, it's a great touch by Nigel to put the scuff marks on there. A very bold move as well. He doesn't he doesn't take the safe option. He always takes risks in what he does. You know, because it's quite easy for someone to say, well, why do I want to buy a shoe that's already scuffed up or, you know, just looks used? Well, wait, listen to the story behind why he's done that. You know, he very much he's very much invested in telling his story, which I love. And he doesn't skimp on anything.
Yeah.
It's a pair that's designed to age beautifully. The
Mm-hmm.
more you wear them, let's put it that way. And not many sneakers embrace wearing patina, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't get that as often. Not like this one does anyway. And the clever thing about this is that it rewards you for actually wearing the shoes, for rocking the shoes. You know, it's definitely not one for shelving, and it definitely makes the shoe stand out. And top 3 is a super amazing spot for these shoes. Any other year, like you said, these would be number 1.
Yeah.
And again, wearable all year round.
Yeah.
Winter,
for sure.
Summer. You know, I was rocking these in Toronto, 25 degrees heat. Had them on all day. The comfort level was amazing. So, yeah, props to Nigel on this. Another great year for Nigel, and he keeps doing his thing, man. Just give us more like this, and we will love you forever. So, thank you, Nigel.
And one of the other things that topped this into my number 3 spot was actually the way that I picked them up. So if anyone hasn't seen any videos I made about this shoe, basically I was on a holiday in Sydney, Australia, and we were walking around kind of the shoe shopping, the major store district, and there's a store there called Supply Store. They're like the biggest Nike retailer boutique in Australia. So they're not a Nike actual store, but they basically stock every single hype Nike shoe, Jordan shoe. They are the premier place to get your Jordans. And this shoe had been released for like 3 weeks. It had been sold out pretty much everywhere instantly. I missed out on like 5 raffles for it, End Clothing, other boutiques, the Nike website. And then I walked into this store with my wife, just thinking, I'll check it out. What's the harm? It's a sneaker store. I'm sure I'm going to see something there that is cool. Wasn't planning on buying anything. Walked in, and this shoe was sitting on the counter, and I looked at it instantly, and I was like, wait a second. That's my size. Like, how you've seen enough of your size shoes that you kind of know instantly. And I just looked at it and I was like, no way. And I looked at it and he's like, yeah, that's the last pair. Like, we just got a restock and that's the last pair just sitting there. And I was like, just grab them instantly. I was looking around. I was like, is anyone else here? No, that's, I was like, no one touched them, basically dived for them, grabbed them, took them to the counter, paid for them instantly, and just put them immediately on feet and wore them the rest of the trip because it was just awesome. So I think
it was written in the stars.
It was. And so I suppose not only the good quality materials, the story around it, just the pickup story is also what puts it on the next level. So
absolutely,
that's probably why it was in my number 3 spot. So again, love that shoe. So that was our number 3 shoes. And if you kind of hadn't already guessed by now, you can probably guess what our number 1 and number 2 shoes are. But my number 2 is the Brick by Brick Jordan 4s. Again, Nigel Sylvester takes my number 3 and number 2 spots. It's really not much else can be said about this shoe that hasn't already been said. Incredibly nice colorway. It's definitely not quite red. It's not quite orange. It's kind of that burnt orange. They have been worn a fair amount. I've gotten the sole pretty dirty on there, as you can kind of see. They've been worn a lot. I've put the white laces in pretty much immediately. The color temperature on my camera right now is probably making them look a little bit more red than they actually are. Like in person, they're a little bit more toned, muted orange, but still bright, obviously being an all red shoe. But yeah, they're giving them a little bit of a bluish tint. But the comfort on them is great. I can't really talk, much more highly about the quality of this shoe. The mud guard that kind of has that cement feel, the almost translucent red outsole on them as well, the visible air unit, of course, the reflective pieces on the mesh is really cool as well. They're reflective on the back there, so it's going to show up in like flash photography. The bike air on the back, I mean, it's The kind of bike air branding on both of his shoes that he's got are just awesome. Tying back to Nigel being a Jordan 4 athlete and also a BMX bike rider. So, man, all of these are just so cool. I don't know what else to say about it. This definitely was a toss-up between this and what my number one sneaker is, which you can probably guess at this point. But, I mean, they're almost neck and neck. It was probably 49 to 51% vote for those two. And I just basically took it down to what have I worn more? And to be honest, I've worn this one just slightly less than my number one shoe. So I guess we'll get into this a little bit for you, Hass, as well. But what do you think overall of this being my number two? Is it a little bit controversial?
Not really.
No.
Because we know both shoes, and we know the shoes we're talking about. Both are contenders to be up there. Either one could easily make that top spot. But I echo everything you said. Times it by two,
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I'll go into it a little bit more when I give you my verdict on my number one. But just simply fantastic. What a year by Nigel Sylvester. You know, absolutely fantastic.
These two being a perfect kind of yin yang. I suppose there's just such a great quality of this has good qualities and this has good qualities. They're both good on their own right. But man, these are sick, and that is my number two shoe. And I suppose we'll quickly move on because your number one and number two are flip flopped to my number one and two. So your number two was the undefeated fours. This one, man. How could you not love the undefeated fours? Everything about this shoe is amazing. Give me your kind of why did you put this at number two and the bike airs at number one?
Well, I'll tell you why. First of all, I've got much love for these shoes, and I'm actually dressed.
Yeah, you are
in a way that suits the shoes as well. I'll probably have them on feet today, but look, these are the ones that sort of paved the way.
Yeah.
For collaborations. Let's get into the history of it. You know, with Undefeated, the very first collaboration was with Undefeated. I just feel like, you know, it's super iconic. You know, it's a retro. Let's say it's not, you know, a new design, so to speak. Apart from the heel, obviously, which I do love the heel tab and what they've done with it with the Nike Air. I do prefer that, but it's not a fresh idea, so to speak. And I think that's what separates it from the top spot and the second spot, if you know what I mean. But there's no denying, you know, it's here because it's one of the most respected Jordan 4s.
Yeah.
You know, simply put, of all time. The colorway, the history, the rarity of it. I mean, that's another thing we can talk about, the rarity.
Yeah.
It was, you couldn't get a pair of these.
Yeah.
You know, I heard stories of people paying £40,000 or dollars or whatever it was for a pair of these before these dropped. You know, absolutely insane. But look, it's a powerhouse in the Jordan lineup. There's no denying that. This could go into the top two, number one, second spot, whatever, any year given, any given year, sorry. It deserves a top spot, which is number two. Just for the influence that it still has today. You know, there was a lot of hype behind these as well. Just a beautiful shoe. The color blocking is up my alley. I love it. I love my orange tones. I love my military green tones. The midsole is not completely white. It's sort of off-white. It just works beautifully. This shoe is absolutely incredible. It's just that, for me, my number one just had a bit more edge to it.
Yeah.
In terms of delivery, storytelling, and you know, we'll get into it.
Yeah. Well, I'll quickly touch on my number one's shoe, which obviously is this shoe, is the Undefeated Fours. You already spoke about a lot of things, but I suppose I'll run through some of my favorite parts of it. And that is, where do I start? The history, first of all, of course, is there. The Undefeated store in California was one of the first stores to create pairs with Jordan Brand, creating 72 pairs that were incredibly limited. Basically, you couldn't get them. It was a time where collaborations weren't a thing. Now we have one every couple of days, it feels like. To me, I love the color scheme. one of the things that I also love is the mismatched kind of black paneling on it. Like you can see there's some shiny parts here, especially here as well. Then you look on the back, you have the matte finish and then the shiny logo. The mismatching of materials, the great quality on the, I suppose, nubuck upper, obviously the green, the orange hits as well, not only on the back of the tongue, the laces. I had to put the orange laces in there. You got the orange on the air unit there as well, orange on the bottom of the sole. All of these things, man. And the thing that I also loved was the rollout when it came to the promotional videos that they were putting out every week about this shoe. Chris Union, some of the best. He worked with Undefeated early back in the day. James Bond, of course, one of the owners or originators of of Undefeated store. Just basically talking about all of the history of the Undefeated store and the way that this shoe came into being. Some of the ways that they were talking with Tinker Hatfield from Nike and Jordan. Some of the ways that all of this shoe came together was just awesome to hear, talk about. See it come together was super cool. The rollout as well, people being actually able to pick this shoe up. It wasn't incredibly limited. That was awesome. In-store releases, activations in Chicago and America. All of these things just basically combined to just make this my favorite Jordan of the year. And there's really no question. I think it was the history. And as I said, it was very close between these two. And I think that, it's great to have competition like this. It's usually in the last couple of years, I feel like we've had a consensus number one a lot of the time. And this year, I feel like there was a lot of contention between these two. And I think they came out at a perfect time to be able to have that battle, so to speak. I suppose one downside for me, I didn't really love the pull tab. I've actually taken it off, the little logo bit on the front.
Yeah.
Because whenever I moved it around, it was fraying my laces and actually fraying the front part of it. So I suppose that might have been one downside, but that's a very, very, very minor thing. But yeah, overall, they fit great. They're great quality. They're good comfort for a Jordan 4. Again, I'm going to be wearing these a ton in winter back here in Australia when it comes to, May, June, July next year, winter. Man, I don't know. This is just easily, sorry, not easily, but it's easily a top 2 shoe, but it wasn't easy to put it at number 1. Let's just say that.
And also, I just wanted to mention on the tongue as well, it does have the shiny tongue on there, which is a fantastic touch.
Yes.
I love that. So if you can see on the tongue, it's like a shiny material. It's really, really beautiful, well crafted. So, yeah, I mean, you got the silver Jordan on yours. I haven't actually pulled the tab off mine yet, so I'm going to try and see what I've got underneath here.
I've done.
It's the white Jordan. I believe some of these came with the gold Jordan as well. So,
was that the Rare Air pack, the Jordan 4 Rare
yeah,
Air?
but I think some of these came with
did?
gold as well.
Oh,
I'm
right,
not sure.
okay.
Yeah. But the Rare Air pack came with gold as well.
That basically with the problem for me with that Velcro tab was that the edges started to catch on like laces and pants.
The laces, and it's happened on mine. Yeah.
So I just took it off. I don't know. I don't really mind. I like the Jordan Rare Air being on there too. Of course, the Jumpman logo is cool, but yeah, it is what it is. Another point that as well, what made this a number 1, I think it also, in a similar vein to the Soul 2.0s, it's different enough from the original where I feel like the resale value of the original is not entirely diminished by a new shoe. It's a little bit different. You're going to be able to tell that this is a 2025 version compared to a 2005 version. So, it is what it is. It's different. It's classic. It's amazing. It's my number 1. Easy.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing. And that just leaves me with my number 1, which is, of course, the Nigel Sylvester Jordan 4.
Yeah.
Brick by brick. Listen, when these came out, my God, I mean, I was in love. And I'm not just saying that. I'm not a hype beast or anything by any stretch of the imagination. I love Nigel Sylvester and what he does and what he's trying to achieve. And, for me, this one made the list because of its storytelling. It's a pair that represents progression, hard work, and building something over time, which obviously we've seen with the Jordan 1 lows he released as well, better with time. The materials and the theme just give it real sort of personality, and it feels different from your sort of typical Jordan release. There's so many differences there that, you know, from the texture of the red, it's not completely red. It represents the brick, you know, that he's famously known for now, brick by brick.
Mm-hmm.
The robustness of the shoe as well. I've had these on quite a bit, and still they look fresh as anything.
Mm-hmm.
I love that sort of mini swoosh there as well. I love the hit of white on the midsole there where the air unit sits. I think it breaks the shoe up perfectly. The presentation that, you know, the box that it came in, you know, unwrapping like a, you know, a box of bricks, and
Yeah.
everything about it was
Yeah, I
just
should have grabbed the
amazing. And
box.
Nigel has had, you know, the cojones, bravery to do a shoe like this with a solid color blocking. That alone makes me think, you know what, fair play. Fair play. You deserve that because you've been courageous enough to do that and take that risk and gamble, because we all knew what we were getting with the undefeated fours. We knew straight away.
We
Yeah,
did.
they're classics. Yeah. We didn't know what we was getting with Nigel. And when he dropped it, it was like, wow, this ties into his story. He's actually made a shoe that represents the brick, and he's given us that packaging and the presentation and the story. Bro, get out of here. I mean, incredible.
Yeah.
If it's one thing I love about shoes, it's the storytelling. It makes up for me 75% of the reason I want to buy a shoe most of the time.
Yeah. Fair.
Or with collaborations anyway.
Yeah.
You know, with GRs, it's GRs. You know, you do the eye test and you think, I like that, and you buy it. But with collaborations, the story paints the picture for me.
Yeah.
And Nigel really did something special with these.
Yeah.
And that's why I had to put it on, you know, in that top tier list at number one.
Yeah.
I had to, because, you know, it would have been easy for me to say undefeated four. Yep. If you'd have told me from 2024 before these come out, we were going to get undefeated fours in 2025, I said, yeah, it's going to be number one.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know what we're getting. We know it's going to be super hyped. It's a super amazing colorway, but these just flip the script, bro. They flip the script, and in a good way. So now, obviously, the onus is on Nigel to keep it going, to keep giving us great stories, to keep giving us shoes with great materials, and, you know, the quality. Just looking at the quality on these shoes, you think, incredible. Why can't they make all Jordan 4s of this quality? And I understand you can't. It is a collaboration pair, but just fully deserving of that number one spot. And it's one that I can't disagree with in terms of Complex's sneaker of the year. I can't disagree with that pick. That's the one thing that I do agree on. However, yeah, fair play to all the other shoes that came in behind this one. Yeah. But Nigel Sylvester, brick by brick, Jordan 4, number one on my list.
Very, very nice. Very nice. It's been a solid year, as I said. It's been an incredible year. And man, it just it's only, I feel like they've reached a high watermark, and I wonder how they're going to pull up again in 2026 and be like, how are you guys going to top this? It's been an incredible kind of, I suppose, comeback, you can say, from Jordan Brand. And this has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you in the top 10 list. And man, I'm glad that this year kind of has somewhat drawn to a close with with all the releases we've had this year. I think, like you said earlier in the podcast, we've had a little bit of fatigue, so to speak, but I think it's nice to recap and have a little bit of a look back on some of the awesome releases that we've had, and we've chatted about a lot of the awesome releases. So again, you can go back and have a look at all of these, and I've also got them written down in the description as well if you want to write down and double check what you think should be in the top 10. But man, it's been awesome, and there's a couple of pairs still that I'm waiting to get, which are like the Chicago low ones. So I mean, there were pairs that we left off. We could have made a whole nother top 10 of pairs that we left off this list. So it's been an amazing list overall. And thank you again so much for jumping onto the podcast to chat with me and give me all of your knowledge and your experience in the sneaker game as well. So let the people know what you've got going on. I suppose people know that you're already on Instagram. You've already got your hashtag, your tag right there, HB Kicks with 2 Z's at the end. And yeah, let people know what you've got going on in the sneaker content creation world.
Yeah, obviously you can follow me on IG, HB Kicks with 2 Z's, as you said. Also on YouTube at the moment, so I'm doing a lot of shorts on there. So I've got a lot of videos which I'm currently uploading, and I'm currently going through top 10 most underrated sneakers of the year 2025. So we're currently, I think, at number 7 now. Number 7's coming up. So if you want to catch that, go onto IG. You can check out the top 10 on there. I've currently gone through 10, 9, 8. So yeah, the next one will be 7. Or catch me on YouTube by the same name as well. So yeah, there's plenty more to come.
Nice.
Obviously, you can catch me on Life of a Broski on Tuesday nights. We've got the live streams with Erkin, so you can catch me on there on Tuesdays as well.
Yep. The weekly waffle is where you can find them. I'm sure that there's plenty of discussions that you can chat about. And yeah, you said Tuesday night for us in Australia. It's like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. Wednesday morning. So
Wednesday morning,
yeah, it's always a fun time listening to you guys chat about your sneakers and everything, and the community that you've built with that segment and that show is really, really cool. And again, you've probably talked about a lot of the shoes that we talked about today on that list, and I think that's one of the great things about sneakers and community, is being able to chat about these sneakers in the moment they're happening, but also recapping them. So it's been really fun to recap these. And again, please subscribe to the channel if you want to continue to see more lists. We've got another podcast coming out where we're going to be recapping the top 10 Nikes of the year. I'm going to keep the guest a nice little surprise for you all, so you're going to have to keep an eye out for that one. We're also going to be doing top 10 of like New Balances of the year. I saved that one for last because I feel like New Balance is like my favorite brand, and so I wanted to kind of give that brand the most amount of time to impress me. And this shoe, which I kind of spoke about in my pickups, is definitely going to be going in the top 10. I just wasn't sure where it was going to be in the top 10, so that one's still coming. Again, thank you everyone. You can check me out on Instagram, Best Foot Forward Shoes. If you found the YouTube, you've probably also known me on Instagram as well. So again, thank you so much to everybody for watching. Hass, any final thoughts before we sign off for what you is the afternoon, but for me is late night?
Yeah, enjoy the rest of the year, and just get ready for 2026, because I think there's going to be some big things to come.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, good luck to, I suppose, all of the people who are watching, trying to cop anything in the next couple of days, weeks. There's still some awesome drops happening, so you can check those out. Black Friday sales as well, going to be just around the corner. So, I'm not going to encourage people to spend beyond their means, but if you've been saving some money for some Black Friday sales, they're coming at the moment. So check those ones out. Again, thank you so much to everybody for watching this episode. We'll see you again next week for another top 10 list. Have a good day.